Hey guys, Cody here from Century 21's local home team. Wanted to give you a bit of a Q1 2020 and also coronavirus update in regards to what it's doing to our real estate market here in Windsor-Essex County. So the March 2020 stats are out. Overall, they don't sound bad when you look at just the numbers, but I'm going to dig into them a little bit further to explain to you the full implications of what exactly is happening. So if you looked at our year-to-date stats, so basically Q1 2020 versus Q1 2019, you would see that the listings are up about 6.5%, sales are down just under 4%, and the average price is up about 15.5%. So overall, sounds really good. Sales are down a little bit, prices is up, the listings are building, so it looks like we're getting a little bit of inventory, but the prices are still strong. But what I really want to zero in on is comparing the last 2 weeks of March to the rest of Q1 or even the beginning of March, if we could take a look at that. So if you take a look at March 1st to 16th, so basically the first half of March 2020, we had about 300 sold residential listings in Windsor-Essex. March 17th to 31st, we had 190 approximately. So there's about a 50% drop off from the first half to the second half of March. Now, myself and many other realtors, we've been talking about it. We noticed that our phone really started ringing a lot less the second half of March, and this is seen in those numbers reducing by 50%. Now, what I would imagine is going to happen is probably that the casual lookers are being taken out of the market. So the people that weren't really serious about moving or didn't have a really important, compelling reason to move right now, they're probably going to stop looking altogether. Now, that being said, people that were planning on moving up from their second to third home, they're probably going to put the brakes on things for a little while here too, especially if they've had a layoff in their job or a little bit of uncertainty with their job over the next little bit. So I think that yes, the number of sales are going to go down significantly, but I think so are the number of listings. Now there's still going to be people moving because guess what? There's still families having kids this year. There's still couples getting married. Unfortunately, there's still couples getting divorced. There's going to be people with illnesses and there's going to be passings in families also. So there's still naturally going to be movement in the market. There's still going to be people getting new jobs even though there's less jobs right now. So there's still people that do have to move and there's still people that do have to sell. So there are still homes going to be sold and purchased. However, I think it's going to be less of both. When you look at the inventory stats, March 2020, we're running at 1.9 months of inventory with 934 active listings, 489 sales. Compare that to March 2019, we're at 1.8. So there really wasn't much of a difference year over year in March. But again, we really saw this change happen towards the end of March. So here's what I think you're going to see happen in April, is we're going to see number of sales significantly decrease. I think the average sale price is still going to be up, but from 2019, but not up from January and February this year. January and February this year, like if you look at year to date so far, including the last 2 weeks of March, we're up 15.5% over the first quarter of 2019. So I don't expect that figure to grow into Q2. I would imagine that as the number of sales are down, I don't think the sales are going to be down less than the listings. I think listings are going to continue to build, not at the rate that they have been, but we're going to see quite a few more listings than sales. So I'd expect the inventory to build, and naturally the prices won't increase as much. I do not think that they're going to drop. I don't think we're on the bridge of a collapse here. Fortunately, they've kept interest rates very low for us, and that's important. But I don't think prices are going to grow at the rate that they have been. So we've been seeing double digits every year for the last 4 years. I would expect single digit growth this year. Now, what are we doing as far as coronavirus and showings of homes? Can you still book appointments with us? All that kind of stuff. So yes and no. We're certainly taking precautions. The office's doors are closed. We are doing as many e-signatures and phone call and Zoom appointments as we can, just to try and limit human interaction. Of course, there's no more than 5 people in a home at any time. We are doing virtual tours wherever we can, and you're even seeing some home sellers saying we don't want people in our home until they have an accepted offer in place. So you're going to see a lot more of that happening over the next little bit too. Certainly, Lysol wipes, hand sanitizer, all that stuff wherever we can. And we're not going to be shaking your hand, unfortunately, at appointments either. We're really trying to limit what we do and our impact on this whole thing too, certainly respecting the people that need to buy and sell during this time, but also everybody else, as there's still going to be some interactions at grocery stores, gas stations, all that kind of stuff. So yes, you can book appointments with us. Please don't take offense to us not shaking your hand or trying to trying to push e-signatures and phone calls more than human interaction and human signing. We are still here for you. We're still doing everything that we can. We're not going anywhere. We are still working from home. So are the mortgage brokers and the mortgage specialists. So are the lawyers. So homes can still close. Homes can still be bought and purchased. Mortgages will still be funded and at a very low interest rate, which is great. But we are trying to do whatever we can to have as little negative impact on society as we can during this time. So we appreciate your cooperation with that. And lastly, we want to say thank you. Thank you to all the emergency workers, the people on the front lines, the nurses, the doctors, the hospital staff, grocery store checkouts, stockers, everybody that's doing your role in the grocery stores and the supply chain down the road, the truck drivers, everybody. We really appreciate what you're doing, and of course agriculture too. And if food's not growing, then we're not eating. So thank you to everybody that is still working. We're going to keep doing what we can for you, just scaled back a little bit as far as the personal interaction. So thank you for listening to our update. I apologize that it's a little bit long-winded, but if you skipped the whole thing and just came in at this last few seconds, basically the summary is that sales are down, and I would expect that they're going to fall quite a bit more yet. Listings are up a little bit, and I would expect that they're going to rise a little bit more yet, and I would expect our months of inventory to rise from around 2, probably to 3 or 4 over the next month or two. Home prices, I believe, are still going to rise. I don't think they're going to drop. I just don't think they're going to rise at the rate that they have been, and unfortunately, we won't really have a good big picture overall view of what's happening for the year of 2020 until we're probably standing at the end of June or Q2. And especially once we hear more from our government about the extended length of shutdowns. So obviously we are hopeful. We're praying that this coronavirus ordeal and pandemic comes to an end very soon. But in the meantime, we are still here for you. And anyways, thank you.